Oh dear. I suppose final round. Wouldn't have it any other way, mate. Just wait for the notification to go up, and away we go. And I think the notification is up. And yep, Bahrain at night. The perfect setting for our title fight. Pardon the absolute terrible poetry. And hello everyone, and welcome to the final round of our FPRL Formula 2 Season 2 Championship. I'm your host, Cruiser1872, and for one final time, I am joined in the commentary box by the man who realised what he had when it was all gone. It is none other than the returning voice of Silverside Boy.
Hello. What are we gonna get out of me?
Sorry?
So what are you gonna get? We're still kind of waiting for them to load in.
What do you mean, what am I going to get? Hopefully what we're going to get tonight is a very close contested championship fight, but unfortunately that might not be the case, as it could all come to an end in qualifying, actually. Unless Trossery gets a near perfect performance this evening, then we will crown a back-to-back FPRL Formula 2 champion. Of course, that being Brookie Min, the flying Scotsman of the Formula 2 grid. And on that note, we should actually look at the standings for Formula 2. On that note, and we see Brookie Min in first place on 249 points, and Trossery on 204 points. The only man that could theoretically catch him, but I suppose the term never say never. I think this is one of those times where it might just be a little bit too much for the Irishman. But we head off into our one-shot qualifying this evening, and we'll stick with shadows here for a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit. A track, of course, which I hold quite close to my heart, and you hold quite close to your heart as well, Gary. Of course, you picked up your maiden victory in the Formula 2 category here in Season 1.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I like this track. I don't know how it's going to feel with this year's game. I know a lot of people might try and use the medium instead of the full. As we see, Brookie already on first place, throwing no punches. This could be the end of the title. We could legitimately all just leave and go, it's done.
I don't know, you're saying that, but still jockeying quite a bit in the midfield, and of course, I did mention as well at Bahrain, a track I hold quite close to my heart as well. I picked up my first victory, of course, in the tier championship, a victory which I did kind of fluke, but at the same time, it did feel very, very good getting on that first place winner's podium, which of course is what Trossery has to do all of this evening, actually. The only way he can technically catch Brookeman is to make a way up the hill towards the end of Sector 2, and now this very tricky corner here, turn 12, and now just this long run before the final two corners, and we're seeing, likewise in this championship, it's Trossery and Brookeman 1 and 2, and around the final corner now we're sticking with Shadows, who is going to take the first blow in tonight's championship. It's going to go the way of Trossery. So that's stage 1 complete for the Irishman, and Brookeman will line up alongside him in second place for our feature race this evening. But for a sprint race around Bahrain, it's going to be CTX in the Trident who takes pole for the sprint race, with more leader joining him on the front row also. And that does it for both a lap of the Bahrain circuit, and for our one-shot qualifying this evening we'll go straight into said sprint race, in which the top 10 will be reversed. As mentioned, CTX will be on pole with more leader on the front row. Then we've got Bolly, who will be third. Monkey Boy Kurt, who will be in fourth. Ash will be in P5. Class will add sixth. Lexus 7th, Shadows will be in 8th, in the two championship rivals, Brookyman and Trostry 9th and 10th. But we have seen Brookyman's pace throughout the whole of the campaign for sprint races, so for Trostry to dethrone Brookyman is going to take quite a lot of work for the Irishman, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, I think Crossley's in, like you said, in qualifying's done what he needs to do. Um, get the pole and get those 4 extra points. So I think he was only he needed I think Brooklyn just needed to get pole. If Ricky got the pole, he would have won by got the 1 point over he needed. But I think now the balance has turned back to Crosby. Maybe Crosby can hope Brookie has been starting near mid pack, might get into a bit of issues with the other drivers. Brookie's got not Brookie, Crosby's got to hope that Brookie gets into a lot of incidents tonight if he wants any chance of winning this title.
Of course, as well, it's not just taking the victory for Trostry, he needs to get the fastest lap also. So, for all we know, that this championship it could go down to the final lap of the feature race, but I'm sure Brookieman will want this title sewn up as soon as he can, as the countdown begins for our sprint race. And is there going to be any drivers as well who you think could potentially throw up a surprise here, Gary?
Yeah. Who have we got on pole for the sprint? Is it CTX and more leader?
CTX and more leader, yes.
Yeah, those two might play a big factor in this.
I wonder, are we not got a formation lap here? I don't think we do. No, we're underway. It seems rather caught off guard. There actually was, I believe, CTX. Actually, no. Whoever.
Oh, we're just underway. Is he there?
And yes, I was on mute. How professional. But CTX round turn 4 now with more leader fighting away with Monkey Boy Kurt in second. We've got Ashy in fourth. Brookymint showing again. He's got all the pace in the feature race, but he's been forced wide there, I think. Going around turn 4, that's put him back down towards ninth place. And Crossray now up into 5th. Let's make our way around down the bottom of the hill now towards turn 7 and this very, very treacherous triple left-hander. Careful not to go wide or lock up, and CTX deals with that very well. And now Monkey Boy Kurt up in second with more leader in third, and what's going on, a bit of a Constantina at the back.
Lexus just slightly tapped the rear of Brookie and may have caused Fish Sticks and Fish Sticks has front right end plate damage from Lexus. Also, I was on board with Brookie, and sorry to say this, but actually forced Brookie completely off track. Like, legitimately just went out of his way to drive him off the track from what it looked like on board. So at the moment, Krosky, I think Krosky actually needs to win this race. I think Krosky needs the perfect 2 races, like race win and faster than that each race, to actually take the title.
Well, so far he's doing what he's got to do. He's up 5 places from the start. And we'll have a look at the positions graphic and back up my point. Crossbury up 5 places from the start, and we're seeing there more leader fighting away with Shadows. Jump up to more leader now, and I'm sure the more observant viewers will find that we actually have the new liveries. Of course, Codemasters finally added the new F1 2022 Formula 2 liveries for this grid and Crossbury, making short work of more leader, who's up now into 4th place. And I've got to say, Gary, there's quite a few liveries here that I do quite like, but we'll forget about liveries really quickly and see Monkey Boy Kurt tagging the back there of CTX, going around turn 7, and it looks like Kurt wants to make short work of CTX and try and build that gap very, very quickly to the field behind them.
I'm watching Brookie's seem getting a bit annoyed being stuck behind Ashy, the guy that forced him off. I'm going to stay on board with Brookie. I've been watching Brookie. He's going left and right constantly, and Ashy just keeps cutting him up. And now Walker's looking to go round Brookie, but Brookie somehow defends it. But yeah, Brookie's not getting it. It's not his way.
Still a long way to go though in this race. We've got 12 laps of this sprint. And we've seen it up at the front though. We've got Shadows and Monkey Boy Kurt getting into a bit of a wheel-to-wheel fight on this long run down towards turn 1. CTX still leads the way by half a second, and more importantly, Trosterate does take that fastest lap, so that at least is in his back pocket. But he's hoping to get in front of Shadows and Monkey Boy Kurt in towards turn 1. He's almost got to come to a complete stop to avoid the pair in front of him. That's now allowed lateral ads all over the back of the Irishman, but both of them will get DRS on the run down towards turn 4, but Collateral Ads is hoping to negate that advantage to the inside. Now those Collateral Ads around turn number 4, Crossy trying to brave it around the outside. There's still wheel to wheel here on the run down the hill, and Collateral Ads backs off on that occasion, so Crossy does defend. He goes a bit deep though in towards turn 5 and turn 6, so Collateral Ads still looking for a way past him, but Trosterate weathers that storm for now. But he's got to be very careful as Collateral Ads on a switchback there around turn 7, but he's to be stuttering the outside now for turn 8, 9 and turn 10 down the hill. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and I think there's been an issue with Ashe, and Brookhaven has dropped a few places now as Lexus has retired from the race, and that is going to be a virtual safety car in Ashe. They've been in the wars a bit this race. They got a 5-second penalty for colliding with Lexus, and I wonder if that might have stemmed to Lexus's early shower in this sprint race.
Okay, I've just seen. I think so. I don't know. I can't really. I don't want to point thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know if somebody is targeting Brookie because the same person has hit him 3 times and is throwing it down his inside. And now Brookie was knocked down to P10. It's down to P10, and he's not actually very happy. I've just seen. He was under attack from both MP cars, MP Motorsport cars. He was stuck between Locker and Ashe. But yeah, see, Koskari is not going to be happy with Collateral. Collateral is being the pain in Koskari's side right now.
And seems like that is the case as Collateral Ads has got the jump on the Irishman at the restart, so Collateral Ads is now up into 4th place, but CTX being heckled all the time by Shadows. He's nearly pushing him down the hill. We'll jump on board with the Charoux driver, currently 3rd, and will stay 3rd in his championship no matter what this evening, but forces CTX almost off the track. They're going around turn 7. Both of these drivers missing their braking point, but CTX now on the run down the hill to the inside goes CTX, and he's doing it just about defend that position. Now he's looked behind Shadows and see that this has now became a 6-car battle for the lead, but there's only one driver who has to win this fight tonight, and that is Trostery, who's still mired down in 5th.
I think I've worked it out. I think Koskari, if Koskari finishes in this position, it's Brookie wins. Koskari needs to get past these 4 people in front of him, and I'm pretty sure everyone will just let Koskari through. I
don't think we'll ever get that friendly here in Formula 2. Of course, we do have quite the history on the grid of track collisions, but there's going to be quite the implosion at the end of this race as Brookhaven is still mired down in 10th place, so the advantage is with Trostery, but with DRS now on the run down towards turn 1, it's Brookhaven who snatches that fastest lap point back, and Shadows and CTX almost go straight on at turn 1, and CTX has been hit, and he nearly hits Trostery. He just avoids it there, so that would have been curtains for the Irishman, but Shadows does eventually get past CTX, but now he's going to be heckled by Monkey Boy Kurt. And what's going to happen?
Locker's gone past CTX as he started moving, and apparently he's had to give the place back, and he's also lost it to Fish Sticks, taking advantage of it.
Fish Sticks now leading this second group of cars down in 6th place, but more importantly, Brookhaven is still mired down in 10th, and in a sprint race it's only the top 8 which will store points, so Trostery, despite everything going in his favour, it's just not coming to fruition as we see Fish Sticks now fighting to try and defend against CTX to the inside. Goes CTX. Oh, they made contact again. That's got a bit messy.
That's a bit naughty from CTX, and he's still pit manoeuvring. That's very naughty from CTX.
I'm not sure what much could have been done there to avoid that, but Brookhaven now is up into 7th place And because he's got the fastest lap point, I think this will be enough to win the championship for Brookieman if he can hold on to that place. Was taking 4 points in this race, and Trosteady is only picking up a solitary 8. Trosteady has to win. We keep reiterating it, we keep saying it, but this is not going to happen for the Irishman. But he's got a good run now onto lateral ads down this main straight, but lateral ads will take the DRS on Monkey Boy Kurt as well. Trosteady is gaining all the time, the slipstream in front, trying to help him against lateral ads to the inside. He's looking, but he's only just window shopping for now. Is Trosteady is not quite ready to cash in on that podium place, but he gets a good run on the exit of turn 2 and turn 3. Now the run towards turn 4, another DRS straight here in Bahrain, the second of third, but it's going to be 4th place still for the Irishman. But as long as he keeps within range of the cars in front, anything is possible. As we look further back, is Locker having to defend against Brookieman. To the inside goes Locker. Brookieman trying to get the run around the outside.
Oh,
And he binds wheeling against Locker, and he's just kept him out the wall, but he does get caught on the curb. Oh, dear.
Bowley's just. Oh, Bowley's got missing front. Oh, and who's that? TS9's taking out.
Oh, it's TS9 and the Locker's got caught up as well. Oh dear, talking about a chain reaction. Locker having to defend against Brookieman gets a slight tap from Brookieman, and that sends him spinning. He is beached on the curb, and that's him out of the points and out of the race. And once again, down at turn 10, CTX and Fishsticks getting a bit of a tussle here. So it looks like these two are going to get a little bit of a rivalry here going in this final round. And it's going to have to be the final round, so they leave nothing on the table and nothing to chance. But I think Fishsticks, he does have a bit of damage on that Campos of his. He's really, really struggling here.
Everyone's going to the wind. I wonder if Locker will be in the box. You might want to keep an eye out on the Wild Ashy appearing, because he's coming out very slowly out the pits. So
yeah, I think Ashy is just keeping out the way of this lead 5.
well,
Lead 4 even, and Collateral Ad almost pushing Kurt there, nearly spinning out the back of that Carlin, but that's to give Trosteady a good chance now to get past. But this DRS train is just not helping anyone here. Shadows is just too far ahead of Monkey Boy Kurt, and Collateral Ads hits the back of Monkey, and Collateral Ads hits the back of Monkey Boy Kurt. This is Trosteady's chance, but he's just not close enough to make the move stick. But if Collateral Ads does drop out of DRS range of the car in front, this will give Trosteady a huge advantage to finally get past Collateral Ads, as we see Collateral Ads slamming on the brakes, minimalising the turn-in speed for Trosteady to try and defend against that Trident. We'll jump further back now to a fight for the final points place and see CTX and Bolly, these two no strangers to each other in the midfield of Formula 2. But it's a fight for the final point, and both these drivers want to make their point as Bolly slightly misses his braking point, taps the back of CTX, but lets him go for another day. But another driver here we've not really mentioned here, David Lawface, up in 7th place. This has been a really strong performance from David.
yeah, David's just kept himself to himself and kept out of trouble. Obviously, in that Williams inspired. I can't remember what car it is now. Carlin of Logan Sargent. Yeah. Oh, and Shadow's stolen the fastest lap.
Indeed, he has stole the fastest lap, so that's going to help Trosteady out just a little bit. But with 5 laps left to go, Trosteady really has to start making some moves here, as they see the top 4 covered by just under 2 seconds. More leader running in P5. He's running a really strong race here. He's just keeping himself to himself, but he's just not close enough to this DRS run, as we'll jump back to this fight for 8th and for 9th. Bolly and CTX again getting up close and personal on track, and it's going to be Bolly that wins out that fight in towards turn 1, but CTX is going to get a DRS run in towards turn 4. TS9 behind CTX looking to pounce in case anything goes wrong. And Bolly a little bit deep there in towards turn 4, but he's going to have enough of a gap to hold off the threat of CTX for now. And we see Brookieman as well up in 6th place. That's going to be 4 points, I believe, for the Campos. So that will be enough by the end of this race to crown him as our champion.
I will check for you at the end of the race.
Indeed, that will be the wiser thing to do. but we'll stick now with Monkey Boy Kurt for a little bit, as I think he's getting a little bit frustrated behind the back of Shadows. Of course, Kurt is having the DRS advantage in towards all of the braking zones at the end of the DRS straight, but it's just not enough. I think Shadows might be running a slightly lower downforce setup, which is helping him against Monkey Boy Kurt. But Kurt does get a bit of a poor exit out of that final corner, but he will get a DRS run to help him defend against Collateral Ads, who now takes the fastest lap away from Shadows. That shows you Collateral Ads does have some pace in that high tech. He's looking to mount an attack on Monkey Boy Kurt, but he's just a bit too far back in towards turn 1, and with 4 laps left to go, the top 4 covered by 1.5 seconds. So this could get very, very interesting towards the closing stages.
Yeah, I'm watching Krosky, and Krosky is starting to fall back slightly with the two people in front. Everyone in front having DRS. He can't get the overspeed. Gone wide again. He's losing it. And we got Ashy. Has got past, unlapped himself from more leader. Brookie's now starting to come on the back and actually gets a time penalty for his trouble. And he's got 5 seconds for a annoying blue flag, so he needs to get out of people's way, or he's going to get disqualified.
Yeah, so much for unlapping yourself. It seems like the stewards don't want you to do that. But we'll stick with this fight here for 8th place. It's probably the only closer fight on track here, as Bolly makes a catastrophic mistake. He gets on the curb at the entry towards turn number 10. That's going to allow TS9 to get past Bolly, and once again, look who's behind him. It's none other than CTX. As we see there, Fish closing on just to CTX to get to defend against Fish, and they also. But as of right now, it'll be that final fight for P8. As once again, Collateral Ads gets another fastest lap, which is now stolen by Ashy. This is Collateral Ads' best chance at Monkey Boy Kurt, but once again, he's just around a tenth of a second too far back to defend and mount an attack against Monkey Boy Kurt. But we see Kurt now only 3/10 behind Shadows. I think this could be Monkey Boy Kurt's chance as well, but it's just not happening either for the Carlin. As Shadows, he's driven a very strong race here and defended very well from the cars in front. But Monkey Boy Kurt gets a good exit out of turn 4, but it's just nowhere to pass here on this section of track. Turn 4, and the exit towards turn 5 and turn 6. And you need to really send it down the inside at turn 7 if you really want to be an opportunist. But Monkey Boy Kurt, I get a feeling he's getting a little bit frustrated behind that behind Shadows. Of course, Kurt does have a victory to his name in this Formula 2 campaign around Zandvoort, and he really wants to make it 2 wins to round out of what has been a really, really strong campaign for the Carlin team.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be great, like you said, great endings for the Carlin team, with David being in P7 and Monkey going for the win. But yeah, look at Koski's 9/10 behind now, so he's completely dropped away. I don't know if Koski can get back in this. As there's a TS9 is out, and Bolly's out.
And Bolly's not caught. Oh, that's a massive crash.
Yeah, that's not going to be a safety car. And how have they crashed there in a straight line?
I'm not too sure, but we'll find out in a few moments' time as Ashy is retiring from the pits. And Monkey Boy Kurt is going for it in towards turn 1. To the inside goes Monkey Boy Kurt. Gets caught up on the curb though, and Ashy just drives clean around the outside. And that's where the Collateral adds a bit of an incentive to get past, but Shadows now defends to the inside. He's starting to weave now, trying to break that slipstream of Monkey Boy Kurt. And then towards turn 4, Kurt does back off. But I think Kurt, just for a moment there, he did know he had a chance into turn 1. So it's not quite came to fruition yet from Monkey Boy Kurt, but he will have one more chance as long as he defends against Collateral Ads, who's getting a little bit antsy now behind that Carlin. Towards turn 7 we go. Collateral Ads looking for a switchback on the exit, but it's just not happening. But the more these two fight, the more that chance fades away to mount a challenge on Shadows as we enter the final lap and a half here in Bahrain.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to CTX Bobby and TS9, but they've had a kerfuffle, and it was an almighty impact for Bully, and then he got an even more big of an impact from CTX, who just carried on driving straight into his car. It was dead in the middle of the track. Anderson's got to be careful not to hit his tier 1 teammate in front of him.
Of course, that will be the ideal thing, but we've seen collateral adds here. He's definitely a lot closer to Kurt than what Kurt is to Shadows as we enter the final lap here for the final sprint race in Formula 2. It's Shadows who leads them away with Monkey Boy Kurt in second, but we've seen collateral adds heckling all the time. That Carlin as Crossity does steal back that fastest lap behind. I think it's just a little bit too late as Brookieman takes it back himself, and collateral adds is sending it towards turn 1, but he misses braking point completely. But Monkey Boy Kurt to go right around the outside of Collateral Ads, and this is now Crossity's chance to get past Collateral Ads, but he's just not going to have enough of a chance here. And towards turn 4 is going to be an almighty dive from the Trident if he wants to have a chance here. But I think the chance for all three of them is gone, and Shadows has extended that gap up at the front. And as well, I think with Brookieman taking that fastest lap, it's going to be a bit of a victory lap here for the Campos of Brookieman, as he's now stuck right up the back of more leader in that fight for P5, but will stick with Brookieman for his final lap, his victory lap, or one would say his lap of honour. Started off in Season 1 as a bit of a wild card. Of course, we all knew it'd be a bit of a wild card. Formula 2, completely new experience for all of these drivers, and that
it's just gone completely on the outside of Morita on the exit of turn 10.
I think that's just an incentive as to what Brookieman can do. In Season 1, he had a titanic tussle which ended in Brazil, with him taking that maiden crown and that victory. And of course, who could forget, starting down in 14th place for that sprint race. He came home to win that day. But in the end, up at the front though, it's not going to be Brookieman that takes the victory in our sprint race. It's going to go to Shadows and round out a third place campaign for the Shadows, with Monkey Boy Kurt in second. Collateral Ads rounds out the podium in fourth, but it's back to back for Brookieman and rounds out in style a fastest lap, the fastest driver on the grid, and the undisputed FPRL Formula 2 champion.
I need to calculate it first.
I can assure you, Gary, that it's an absolute formality at this point. Brookieman is going to be our champion this evening. Crossity finishing down in fourth. It's just not enough for the Irishman, and with Brookieman taking 2 points for the fastest lap, along with a 5th place finish. That is going to be it for our champion. And I've seen Shadows as well, and Monkey Boy Kurt gracious and having a good fight on track in the end. And the fireworks are out for 2 drivers this evening, and I should say the fireworks were shown on track, but they light up the sky for Shadows, who wins a sprint race this evening. But Brookieman, our champion once again. And I've just done the quick calculation there, Gary. Brookieman on 254 points, Crossity on 213 points. And with only 27 points on offer for our feature race, including the fastest lap, it's an unassailable gap for the Scotsman, and Brookieman will claim our championship crown for the 2nd season in a row. But still, that will also conclude the fight for, I believe actually, I shall actually have a look at our fight for 2nd place in the standings. I believe that is a fight for top 3 over with, as with that victory, we have Crossity on 213 points and Shadows on 179 points. So that will round out our fight for the top 3 in the championship as well. Brookieman, our first place driver, Crossity in 2nd, and Shadows, with that victory in our feature race, makes it an unassailable gap for Collateral Ads to catch him, and that is going to be our podium both for our sprint race, with Shadows winning, Monkey Boy Kurt another strong sprint race result in 2nd place, Collateral Ads taking 3rd, and we've got Brookieman in 1st for our overall Drivers' Championship, Crossity in 2nd, and Shadows taking 3rd for the Charouz team. But of course we do still have one more race this evening, and I think really this race might just be for honour in the end. But of course, don't think much people will know this, but this will be the final race of our main FPRL Formula 2 Championship Series.
We might come back to it.
Of course, maybe somewhere down the road we can have a Formula 2, maybe even a Formula 2 5-lapper championship. Who knows?
Oh,
But
no.
that is definitely one that's going in the scrapbook and chucked in the bin as we now await for the final time. And it's going to feel a bit emotional, I think, when we get to the end of this race, of course. It's gotten a little bit too used to hearing your voice, Gary, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to miss it in our little Sunday Formula 2 league.
I think, well, I'm still going to hear your voice. You're still going to be my engineer in tier twos for me. Um, we won't talk about what happened on Friday.
Unfortunately, yeah, that is going to be the case as we've got the FP Racing League account redeeming a drink and Totom's drink redemption, which actually I shall be a quick second. I will get to that in a sec. Actually, what I'm going to do is a bottle of Coca-Cola lying halfway across my room, so I'm just going to have that as my drink. So there you go.
I'm not going to do it
And
now.
I'm
I'm
going
going to push it away and say, "No, I don't want this shit," and just grab the bottle of water instead.
to hell with that. Messi's better. Anyway, that's another day. But I think. There
I
you
have
go.
been told
But
to
I
let you know
think.
there is no formation app. Mr. Lolface may
Yeah.
have forgot to add that in.
Well, it makes the night go by a little bit quicker, but I think for a final, I think what could be our final drinks redemption in Formula 2, I might just put out a little bit of a toast this evening. So for 2 seasons, we've had a bit of a, shall we say, a bit of a hectic time in the Formula 2 category, but there's been plenty of fights on track. There have been some fights off track, but in the end, I'd say it's all been worth it for some thrilling racing on Sundays. And I, for one, am certainly going to miss it. Not sure about our drivers, but I suppose we'll say cheers to the Formula 2 grid, to you, Gary, for joining me in this commentary box against your will. And as the countdown begins for the final time, we count down to what could be our final, or what will be our final race in Formula 2.
Oh, you're
So,
only going to miss it
cheers.
because you can't run the show anymore.
Who says that?
Well, I don't know. We'll have a bit of banter at the end of the season.
No, of course, always. As we see, of course, we see the Godfather in chat, Scotsman. Good evening to you, my friend, and you join us at the perfect time for the final time. As for our feature race this evening, we got the top two in the championship, but still, there's bragging rights to be took on track. And for the final time in Formula 2, it's lights out, and away we go. Crossedy and Brookieman off of the start here, and it looked like Crossedy, a familiar sight to last time out in China, getting the launch off of the start ahead of Brookieman. In towards turn one we go. It's Crossedy ahead of Brookieman with Shadows in third. Lateral adds in fourth. Ashley up into fifth place, fighting away with Monkey Boy Kurt. And we'll actually jump down to that fight for P5 and see that Monkey Boy Kurt does have the advantage over Ashley. And up towards turn four we go. It's Crossedy, Brookieman, and Shadows in third, Collateral adds in fourth, Monkey Boy Kurt up to fifth. Then we've got Ashy, Bolly, more leader, Fish Sticks, and Locker hoping to make amends of the sprint race down in 10th. And our final points place this evening, all over the back of Fish Sticks, looking for a move in towards turn 7 here against Fish Sticks, but Fish Sticks will just drive clean around the outside of the MP Motorsport. And I'm seeing as well CTX getting a little bit antsy behind Lockhart, wanting to make the move, but he's going to back off of that particular exchange as Lockhart gets a massive snap on the curb. CTX looking to dive down the inside, but he's going to think better on that occasion, and Lockhart defends against CTX out in 10th. Up at the front though, Atrocity and Brookieman, these two, a familiar sight in their championship of course, and they are absolutely running away with it up at the front, nearly a second ahead of Shadows in third, who's got his rearview mirrors, who's got his wing mirrors full of that high tech of collateral ads, hoping to end this season off strong, but in the end Atrocity is doing it in the strongest position possible in the lead here with an 8/10 of a second gap, just on the final corner now for the Trident. And down towards the start finish line with a 1 second gap over Brookieman, but I'm going to mention as well, Trostedy is starting on the soft compound tyre, Brookieman is on the hard compound tyre, Shadows in third, also on the hards, and we'll actually get our tyre graphic up as well. Now we don't see that Trostedy is the only driver on the grid to start on those soft compound tyres, so although he will have some clear air when he makes his pit stop, Gary, we did see in China when that safety car came out, it has been known to play devil's advocate, and Trostedy found that out first hand, where one would argue that did cost him the lead of the race actually last time out.
Yeah, we did. Sorry,
Gary.
sorry.
I should say,
Conversation
you won't really have you won't really have much insight into that, considering you were racing and you showed up for post-race interviews in, I quote, a neck brace.
Yeah, I was killed. Thanks, Diamond.
Not to point any names out there, but we've seen Cross today pulling a 1.4 second gap, so he's definitely using the most of those soft compound tyres, but they will fall away very, very quickly. Shadow's getting a bit detached from Brookieman in third. Clash of Lads filling the wing mirrors of that Shadows with the high tech. He's just not able to stay close to him in a very weird line there from Clash of Lads. A bit wide going up the hill towards turn 10. Monkey Boy Kurt again in fifth, looking to end the season off strong for Monkey Boy Kurt. And we've got Ash in 6th, More Leader 7th, Bolly in 8th, Fishsticks 9th, and Locker still heckling the back of that Campos down in 10th.
Yeah, I think Crosby's plan here is to use his softs as much as he can to gain up enough as he goes. Someone's gone around at the back. Oh dear, it's my teammate Lexus.
Oh no, Lexus. He's spun round and we're seeing as well as his rear view mirror is getting, his rear wing is a little bit weird on that font, but trust Codemasters. Anyway, Crossery up at the front, 2.5 seconds clear, and Shadows is caught right up to the back of Brookieman on lap 3 here in Bahrain. DRS will be enabled for everyone within 1 second of the car in front, and Monkey Boy Kurt sticking to the back of this group in this fight for second place very nicely, so he's going to get the DRS and help him pull away from Ashe in 6th, who's in a bit of no man's land, but More Leader defending against Bolly. We'll stick with this fight for just a little bit here. More Leader are one of our newer drivers into FPRL and certainly wants to make an impression here, as we've seen Ashe. I think he got on the curb a little bit going around turn 10 and he's dropped right back into the clutches of More Leader, but he won't get the DRS though because he was 1 second behind at the detection line, and Bolly looking to get around the outside of More Leader, but More Leader a bit of a bang of the wheels there between the pair of them, and More Leader does defend against the dams for the Virtuosi for just a little bit longer, and Bolly getting a little bit antsy behind More Leader, wanting to get past but very wide there at the top of the hill. That's trying to get Fishsticks a run on the Virtuosi, but Locker gets a run instead on Fishsticks in towards the final corner here. Locker is going to back off of that particular exchange and gets a bit of a poor entry into the corner, but he will get the exit and the traction down. DRS enabled for Locker against Fishsticks in this fight for 9th place in this very long, never-ending pit straight down towards turn 1 as Locker to the inside of Fishsticks, who's going to be braver on the brakes. It's going to be Fishsticks who's a bit braver, but it's going to cost him in the end as he has to cut the curb at turn 2, and Locker just drives clean around the outside of Fishsticks and says thank you very much, Mr. Fishsticks, I will take 9th place off of you. And next up for Locker is going to be Bolly, but Fishsticks is not giving up this fight here, but I think in the end he's just going to have to concede and sit behind Locker for just a little bit longer, as Locker is now going to set and chase after Bolly in 8th.
Oh, for God's sake, CTX. I have no idea what he's doing.
Dear.
He's just tried to turn in when David was on his inside and has just wiped poor David out. And has decided to
CTX
cut completely back onto the track and deservedly gets a 10 seconds.
And not to point fingers, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly why we are calling a short end to our Formula 2 campaign, as see Crosstreet is still building a gap up at the front, 3.1 seconds to Brookieman in second, who's getting a bit further ahead now of Shadows, but Shadows is definitely, I think, running a lower downforce setup as he is gaining a bit on Brookieman. Is he going to get DRS though in towards this detection line? I think he just in range as make our way down the pit straight to start lap 5. And we will see, actually, Shadows hasn't got within DRS range, so that's going to cost him a little bit. And it's now going to be collateral ads all over the back of Shadows. And unlike in the sprint race, collateral ads is going to make that move on Shadows in towards turn 1, commit Shadows onto the curb at the inside. That's to give him a very poor exit, and collateral ads gets the power down and gets back up into the podium places.
I'm just watching Ashy and More Leader having a little squabble for 6th and 7th. And then you've got Bully, FPRL, Locker, and Fish Sticks. So it's your fight was from 6th to 10th. I think Ashy's just gone up the inside at turn 3 or 4 on More Leader.
We'll stick with this fight down this back straight here in Bahrain. A little bit of a shorter back straight, but still you can make the move in towards turn 11 here, but it's just a very, very tricky corner to make that overtake stick as Mo Leader finds out he's going to just back off a little bit from Ashy, and this fighting here is seeing Ashy dropping all the time to Monkey Boy Kurt. He's now 5 seconds between Ashy, who gets a big snap of oversteer going around turn 12, and he just gets away with it, but More Leader is definitely waiting and ready to pounce on that car in front. The MP Motorsport looming large here for More Leader as we make the way down and towards turn 1, this long pit straight here. We start lap 6 of 16 in Bahrain. More Leader to the inside of Ashy. We see the DRS pull, but Ashy a bit later on the brakes. That's going to send him a bit wider in towards turn 1, so that will allow a More Leader to get a better run around the outside now for turn 2. A bit forced in the curb there around turn 3, and More Leader will get DRS to pull away and defend against More Leader. And now we've seen as well Bolly's got past More Leader as well, and Locker looking to make it a trifecta on the MP Motorsports to come together. It's been a bit of a habit. We did find that out in Austria just a few weeks ago, that these two MP Motorsports don't like sharing the same piece of track at the same time. And Locker, that's a bit ambitious. Locker, very wide there, going around turn 6. He's surely got to give that position back to his teammate.
I actually think he already got the move done before he went off, so I think he's fine to keep that position.
Certainly one way to take the run down towards turn 7, but that's going to allow Ashy and Locker going to get the DRS now on his teammate down in towards turn 10 and turn 11. And to the outside now for Locker. Is he going to stick it around the outside? He's trying to, but Ashy is still defending against his teammate, and these two dropping all the time to Bolly in front. And like I said, these two MP Motorsports just don't like sharing the same piece of track at the same time. But in the end, it's going to be Ashy who wins out that fight for now. But that fight has only just begun as we start lap 7 up at the front cross-tree. 3.6 seconds clear of Brookman in second. Collateral and starting to catch up to the back of Brookman as well. Shadows in 4th. Monkey Boy Kurt a bit of a lonely 5th. Then we've got More Leader, Bolly, and this fight for 8th place in which Locker is going to prevail. He's tried to have his teammate a bit of a slipstream to defend against Fish Sticks. Now gets past Ashy, and just in the space of a lap here, Ashy has went from running in 6th place is now running down in 9th, and potentially could find himself mired at the bottom of the points here if Fish Sticks gets the run on him up towards turn 4. But Locker, with that slipstream, he has helped Ashy defend against Fish Sticks in towards turn 1, and now around turn 4, Ashy runs a bit wide. Oh, very wide. They're taking a bit of a Hamilton line going around turn 4, but that will allow him to get better traction, and he does defend against Fish Sticks at least for the moment. So as of right now, it's Locker in 8th, Ashy in 9th, and Fish Sticks in 10th.
Yeah, I wonder when Krosky will come into the pits. His tyres are going off. I can see the line on his tyres, and he's also starting to lose time to us. Fish Sticks has gone up, got past Ashy at turn 10.
Seen it in the driver tracker there. They two going at it in towards turn 10 and turn 11, and I think they've came together as TS9 just goes right around the pair of them, and I believe Fish Sticks has came off worse in that exchange.
Yeah, I've just seen it on board. I was on board with fish sticks. Ashley has thrown one back, even though fish sticks had already turned in and he's just gone into the side. As Krosky's got a 5 second penalty for speeding into the pits.
Oh, Trostry, that's not gonna do you any good, mate. But he will have to. Is making his pit stop though, so we will find we do know now that those soft compound tyres can only go around 7 laps, and he did have a 3.2 second lead over Brookieman, but that 5 second penalty is going to haunt him to the end of this race. And I think Monkey Boy Kurt said problems. Yeah, he has. He's in the wall. Oh dear, Kurt. That's not went well for you, as now we see Mo Leader gaining all the time on the Carlin, and surely an easy overtake for Mo Leader. Forces Monkey Boy Kurt wide around turn 4, but actually Kurt is going to fight back here against Mo Leader. Does Kurt have damage actually? We'll find out in just a few moments,
He
and I
doesn't have
don't
damage.
think he has.
No, he's got away with it.
No. No, he's got away with it there. So despite spinning around turn 4, he has got away with no damage, but it's going to be damage limitation for Monkey Boy Kurt. He's now 8 seconds behind Shadows, who's now running a very lonely 3rd place. And this fight now for a net 4th has got a bit more interesting, as we see Crossery has actually emerged from the pits ahead of David Lawface. And I think David's had a bit of a poor race as well, down in 14th. As we'll have a look here, Ashley once again in a fight, this time against Lexus, and Ashley is just slowly falling down the order all the time. Went from running from 6th, now running down
six.
in 10th.
Oh, he's dropped
Oh
it.
dear.
He hasn't got damage. He's survived. Oh, now
Oh,
he
surely he's got damage there. That's a bit messy,
Oh,
but and that's a virtual safety car.
Who's
Well,
coming
this
in?
got a bit.
Monkey's coming.
I don't know. When
Monkey's-
Kurt's came in, I wonder.
Everyone's coming in. Oh, this could actually throw the whole race because these guys are going to gain time. While under the virtual safety car, they're going to lose less
But
time.
will the softs go that far? That is also the other question here. As Ashley follows Cross Rain, gets a 5 second penalty, and Ashley does call it a day for the MP Motorsport. So Cross Rain doesn't lose too much time to those who've just made the pit stop now, but it's more so, is it going to be a repeat of China for Brookieman and Crosstry? Because Crosstry did start opposite to Brookieman on those tyres, as we get a virtual safety car, and David, oh dear David.
It's just gone bad to worse for David. Oh, please don't say he's got the VSC bug, you know, where it tries and slows you down a lot more than
It gives you it gives you an absolute calendar load of absolute calendar of delta. You've got to try and match that within 10 seconds, and it's just not possible. But we will see as well Trostody running up in 7th place, and we'll look at that leader graphic, and he is 30 seconds behind Brookieman, who I believe is going to try and stretch these hard compound tyres as long as he possibly can. But we'll also keep an eye out as well to the likes of Monkey Boy Kurt and Bolly, who've made that pit stop onto softs. So we'll find out how far they can go in this race. But with Crossray only managing around 7 laps, I get the feeling it's going to be a very, very long race for Kurt and Bolly onwards. As we see Lockers now went into the pits, I'm imagining this is going to be for a set of softs. So he's got to do 7 laps to the end in Crossray. That will be another position gained for the Trident. That will be now 6th place for Crossray in our final race of Formula 2, with Brookieman still leading the way by 1.6 seconds to Collateral Ads in 2nd, and Shadows is slowly reeling in Collateral Ads as well in 3rd. More Leader, a very strong outing actually for Mo Leader. He got 5th, I believe he was fighting for 5th place in our sprint race, finishing 6th in the end due to Brookieman on the final lap, running a net 4th. Then we've got TS9 in 5th and Crosstoday in 6th. So we'll need to keep an eye out on where Crosstoday is going to keep, where he's going to keep his place as net leader, or will Brookieman take that off of him? As we've seen as well, Fishsticks making that pit stop onto softs, and Locker emerging down in 9th place, and Lex is making that pit stop too. And we'll sit with Brookieman now up at the front and see if he's going to make that pit stop or whether any of the two behind them are going to try and undercut the Campos as we go around the final corner with Brookieman. What is he going to do? Is he going to make the pit stop? Is he going to stay out?
Nathan.
Looks like it's a very late call there, but he's going to go into the pits here. Shadows will follow him in. Collateral Ads stays out one more lap.
That's a mistake.
So,
he's going to lose so much
but
time.
You will have fresher tyres to the end of the race, but we'll see now where is Trostedy going to emerge ahead of Brookieman, as Brookieman is just changing his tyres now and is leaving his pit box now. Trostedy just running around the final corner. This could be a familiar story to China, as Brookieman is just about to exit the pit lane now. He's just going by the pit lane limiter. Trostedy powering down towards turn 1, and Trostedy, he has kept that lead ahead of Brookieman, but what is the gap going to be? Due to that virtual safety car, that gap has actually stayed the same. But with that 5-second penalty, this race has definitely swung back in favour of Brookieman, who just has to stay within 5 seconds of Trostedy, and he will take the bragging rights and the final victory of this Formula 2 campaign and round off an absolutely a near distinct and no other word for it, an absolutely brilliant campaign for the Scotsman of Brookieman.
Some say that he should be, if we do this again, he should be able to race to give everyone else a chance.
But all we know is he's told the stake.
For God's sake.
Sorry, I had to get that line when you said some say. Anyway, absolutely, just near flawless on track, and Collateral Ad staying out yet again. So looking like he's got his strategy down to try and wait for what could be a potential late safety car here in Bahrain on lap 12 of the race. Collateral Ad's leading TS9 by some 19 seconds over TS9, and I get the feeling, no, he's not pitting either. So both of the high-techs go into the end.
They're going to try and do a no-stop.
I mean, good luck, guys, but you will have to make a pit stop in this race. So Trostedy still 8 seconds behind TS9 in third, but Brookieman, he gained nearly a second and a half on that lap alone. And we're just seeing now, just like in China, those soft compound tyres, they are absolutely rapid out of the pits, but they will fall away towards the later stages of the race. But I think it's just too much work to do for Trostedy. And will he actually be able to keep what could be a net third place ahead of Shadows, who's only literally just over 5 seconds behind Trostedy? So Shadows, if he can keep this pace up, he will potentially steal second away from Trostedy as well.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Brookie's just got all the superior grip. You can see it on every exit. He just absolutely just gained like a tenth or two. Goes from 1.2, and he's back.
It's now borderline in 1 second.
Yeah.
This is in the space of like 2 laps, we've just proven how quick Brookieman has been, and despite missing the opening few races of the campaign, he did start his race actually. He started his campaign in round 4 in Belgium, and took the lead of the championship by around lap. Well, around Zandvoort. And actually, no, it was Zandvoort. What was our campaign this year? It was Zandvoort and then Spa, or Spa and then Zandvoort. Either way,
Spa was third, and Zandvoort was it was Abu Dhabi, and then we went to Monza, and then we had Belgium third, and then Zandvoort was the 4th race.
And by the time we even hit Mexico, which, if I'm correct, was only round 5. By that time, Brookieman thoroughly put himself in the championship hunt, and then by, as I say, I keep saying laps, obviously, I'm not good at this, I do apologise. Anyway, all we're going to say is Brookieman has just been absolutely flawless.
TS9 didn't even come in. He could have probably come in and still...
I think he just wants to get a few laps under his belt as leader of the race. So TS9 with Collateral Ads taking his pit stop down in 5th, and he's actually right behind Shadows here, so he's not lost too much time despite staying out all that time longer, TS9 will lead the way, I think, for what will be one of only few laps he's actually led in Formula 2. But Brookieman, once again, really, really want to get past Cross today. But I think just on this run down towards turn 10, those soft compound tyres, the superior grip, and one would argue the superior driver is just not quite close enough to Cross today. But it's going to be a near enough foregone conclusion, as I do apologise there. In the background, I'll need to go for just a second, as we'll stick with this battle for Cross today and Brookieman.
It's going to be a losing fight here. I think Crosby's going to have to try his best to hold him off, but I think Brookie at some point will get past. As we see TS9 finally make his way into the pits. He might filter. He's going to filter out quite a way back behind Locker, so as Shadows and Collateral Ads are now fighting into turn 1. Collateral goes for the outside. Slight contact that Ads gets it round the outside, as clean as you like it. Where is TS9? TS9 has not come out yet. Yeah, he's coming out in P10. Going to be clear of days 3. TS9's going to get the last points. More leaders had an incident with Bowley.
I wonder what's happened there with More Leader and Bolly. These two fighting over 6th place. And as well, we are going to see a familiar sight. Brookieman does lead the Bahrain feature race for Formula 2. Cross today having to settle for 2nd place. And it's been a bit of a groundhog day throughout the entire campaign. Cross today, he's been close, but just not close enough. He's always had to settle for 2nd place, but I suppose one would argue consistency for the Irishman, but one would argue he just hasn't quite had the final product compared to Brookieman. He's always had that extra advantage, as while everyone on the grid has been playing checkers, these two have been playing chess, but Brookieman is just a few moves ahead of Crossrays. We've got a yellow flag somewhere in sector 2. I think that is for Monkey Boy Kurt having a bit of a spin. As we're actually looking as well here, Crossray carrying that 5-second penalty. He's getting caught here by Collateral Ads and Shadows. So in this final round in Bahrain, Crossray might not even make the podium here as Collateral Ads takes the fastest lap. Crossray with the DRS in towards turn 1. He's thinking about it. He's looking at it, but he's just not close enough to make the move stick. But Brookieman very deep in towards turn 1, around turn 2 and turn 3. Is Crossray going to mount that challenge on Brookieman in towards turn 4? He's gaining all the time. That Trident against the Campos, the two juggernauts of the Formula 2 campaign. But Brookieman wins out that fight as with just 2 laps left to go here. And for what could be the final time in Formula 2, at least one of these drivers is going to take that final victory. And for penalty or not, Crossray wants to take that checkered flag first.
Yeah, I've just seen Monkey Boy's just come into the pits. Probably to go for the fastest lap.
Suppose Bradian writes in his own right for Monkey Boy Kurt. That does put him down into P11 after running up in 5th place.
Oh, this is
that
wholesome.
Could very well be 4th pastest lap.
Oh, this is wholesome. Look at 12th and 13th. It's the good friends having a good old scrap. Let's watch this. Golden fish sticks. Have him.
Indeed.
Have him. Have him, David.
What's our final?
Take him out.
This is very much like Austria for you when you were commentating me and David Lawface fighting for the victory. I don't think you knew who to cheer for, and I don't think many of us know who to cheer for in this fight between David and Fish Sticks. I hear a few people say none of them.
David all the way. Have him, David.
I think a few people are with you.
Have him, David.
I think a few people will be saying none. I hope both of them crash.
Oh
no!
What you done, Fish Sticks? All that friendship just got down the drain.
The pantomime villain there for David Lawface as he gets a bit of karma for going over the curb, and Fish Sticks get back past the Carlin as what?
Oh my God!
What?
Bowley and Lexus have been disqualified even though they used the right tyres.
Oh no, are you serious? So basically, this fight now between Fish Sticks and David is going to be for the final points.
Go on, lads. Go on.
Go on. But we'll stick up at the front here. We see actually Collateral Ads has dropped past Trostedy while we were spectating that minnow fight between Fish Sticks and David Lawface. That'll be a good run to the end of this race. So stick with Brookieman. As we mentioned in the sprint, he's just been absolutely superior to the dread around him. Checkers for everyone else in the paddock, while Brookieman has went ahead and played chess, and he's chosen a good opponent to play that chess game in Trostedy. But in the end, much like chess, there's only one driver who can emerge victorious, and on multiple occasions it's been a very close fought fight, as we see Brookieman already celebrating down the run towards the final corner. And to round out this championship in style, in absolute style, with flair, and with absolute elegance, Brookieman wins for the final time in FPRL Formula 2, with Trostedy in second place, and Shadows takes that podium away from Trostedy, finishing in third, Trostedy having to settle for fourth. Then we've got More Leader across the line in fifth, a very strong performance for More Leader. A bit of a late call up to FPRL, but still very strong performances, beating out Locker for sixth. Then we've got TS9 in seventh, Multiboy Kurt in eighth, Fish Sticks up in ninth ahead of David Lawface, as Dee's Freak made a pit stop, going for a pit stop. So we'll see here.
Got something to do with David. David, do you remember last time we were at Bahrain?
Yeah.
No. But it's not
No, Fish Sticks!
David, have him. Send it. Final corner.
Send it into the final corner, and it's not going to be in this occasion. He's backed off of it, but on the run towards the final corner. These two are looking wheel to wheel here, and who's it going to be? It's going to be Fish Sticks who takes it by 47 thousandths of a second to David Lawface, and Dave's Freak rounds out in style with a broken front wing. And that does it for Formula 2, and that's certainly one way to end our season. Not quite in glamour, but still, it's been a good run.
Oh. Okay, so I've just found out why Bully and Lex has been disqualified. But it also doesn't work out because Monkey did exactly the same thing. So apparently, you cannot box in F2 under a virtual safety car because it does not count as a mandatory stop.
Oh dear.
Because we had it, and I've just legitimately seen Bully and to say it, and then crosses that under search safety car, and Morley put it wasn't a mandatory one, and that's why Days had to go for another stop at the end.
Oh, that's
and the same
a
with
little
Monkey.
bit embarrassing.
And the same with Monkey. That's why no boxed in again.
Oh, well, that actually does answer up. Does clear up a little bit.
What have I just done there?
And we shall get our podium sitters
Hang on a minute, I've got to get
in. I've got them on the broadcast anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. But we will get our podium sitters in for our final post-race interview of the campaign. That will be Brookieman, Shadows, and of course a good friend of yours, Gary, Collateral Ads. So I'm pretty sure who you would want to have an interview this evening.
Do we have to do interviews? I don't think we need to. I think
well, I think it could be only fair if we get our champion in for a few words.
We'll just get Brookie in. Sorry guys, I ain't got time. I want to get rid of F2 as quick as possible.
I don't. Well, I will see Trostery's took that to heart. He's left the session already. So we shall invite our champion Brookieman in for a few quick words. And so I left the session. It said I failed to join the session. That makes sense. Well done, Codemasters. Oh dear. And
I think Brookie's here.
I believe he is. So, Brookieman, if you can include your audio, and we shall get started as soon as you are ready.
Right, lads.
And there we go. So, Gary, you can have the first few questions, of course, and also before we begin, a massive congratulations, Brookyman, back-to-back champion, or
Thank you.
back-to-back Brookyman. And Gary, I'd like to take us underway with our interview with our two-time FPRL Formula 2 champion, Brookyman.
Oh, right, okay. Obviously, congrats, like Cruiser said. No
Thank you,
surprise,
Gary.
but yeah. We're going to talk about your sprint race. We saw that
Please
you had
don't.
well, I will, because I want your word on it. It was a good recovery drive in the end. You looked like you had a few bits of bumps. You were in a bit of the walls in the start of that
Yeah.
race with some
Yeah, it
drivers.
was. It was. I think I don't know what happened at the start. I was up into like fourth, and then I don't know. I don't know what happened actually. I think I was behind Dashi. And oh
Yeah,
no, no, me and Dashi collided lap one. So I got that run on him, and we kind of both went off track, and I fell down to P9, P8. I was behind him again. And yeah, he was just defending, and I made a move, and then he sent one back, and then he unfortunately, yeah, spun out. So, oh yeah, I did manage to make a recovery, which was good. Managed to get more leader on the last lap. I think it was for fifth. But yeah, a bit in the wars.
yeah. I'll let Cruiser answer the last two questions.
Oh, how generous of you, of course. Brookyman, as we said, champion once more, and I get the feeling the sprint race. I'm sure you had the broadcast on in the background, knowing Crossday's position, and as the laps kept rolling down, I think really that grin underneath that crash helmet just got ever wider, and you knew by just a few laps left to go, it was just a foregone conclusion that you were going to be our champion.
Yeah, well, I ran medium traction tonight, and through the last sector, it definitely wasn't the fastest, but the middle and the first sector, I definitely felt confident through there. So in the last sector, I kind of maybe lost a bit of time, but I'd gain it up in the first and second sector. Just tried to keep it clean and just make sure I didn't make any mistakes, like spinning, which would result in me getting no points. So yeah, obviously I was happy to win the championship again. So
And I think our final question is going to be, what's the celebrations going to be? Is it going to be a 7 day bender, or maybe even a little bit more than that?
maybe a 14-day bender.
Haha, that sounds quite lovely indeed. But
Yeah, just for beating
I
collateral
suppose,
ads. 14-day bender.
whoa.
Nah, I'll invite him to it.
As actually, I think Collateral Ads is here. Indeed, he is.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, there he is. And that does it. So Collateral Ads is here, and that is going to be it for this evening. Thank you. Anyway, so Gary, suppose while Collateral Ads is here, take us through a quick interview with Collateral Ads, of course, rounding out our championship in very, very strong fashion indeed.
Let
And
me
I
just-
believe,
let me- I
I
can't
actually
remember
believe it was, I
What do
believe
you
he's
think?
fourth place overall in tonight's championship. So not too bad in the end for Collateral Ads. And as soon as we get his audio included, I believe, and you're ready, we'll take us for a quick interview with Collateral Ads this evening.
Just checking where he finished in both races. I've just looked. It's a double podium for ads. Strong end to the season. You want to go through your? We'll go with your finish. Unlike the rest of the drivers, you went longer than everyone else on those hards. Was that always the strategy?
Yeah, I saved some tyres at the beginning. I think when everyone else pitted, I was on about 647 tyres, so I knew I could go up a couple of laps. I was gonna probably pit another lap after, but I saw that Brookie and Koski was starting to catch me up a little bit, especially Brookie. So I had to leave myself a couple of laps to try and close that gap to Koski, because obviously he had that 5 seconds. So I had to make sure I had enough, and I think about 4 seconds when I come out the pit. So yeah.
Oh, right. We'll also go for your sprint as well. Looks like you were in a bit of the wars, swapping places with people constantly through the whole sprint. Were you? Was it you hopefully trying to see if you could outscore? I think it's Shadows in front of you in the championship. I think it is.
I don't even know who I was. I knew there was a possibility of me getting fourth, but no, we got stuck in the DRS train the whole fucking race, so it was annoying. But yeah, did a couple. I did a move on Shadows. He got past again, and then I got past, and then I was stuck behind. Who was it? Monkey for most of the race. But yeah, I think I did a last lap dive of Monkey, which I had to go for it, but I was centimetres away for taking out Shadows. Like fucking Sphincter was going 100 miles an hour, so it was a bum squeaky moment. But yeah, I was happy with my performance in both races. I didn't think I'd do as well as Bahrain, as you know, Gary's not one of my favourite tracks. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
know this. Cruzy, you can ask the last question.
Don't really think there's much to add on or to say really regarding the evening, but I think I might as well ask Collateral Ads, how would you rate your season as a whole? Because fourth place in our championship is certainly not too shabby indeed.
Yeah, I think I've done all right. I think I've missed four races this season.
It's two.
No, it wasn't Gary. It's four featuring sprint. I've missed two races. Yeah.
Oh, right,
So I've missed four. So it's not been too shabby, to be honest. But there has been obviously times where I've collided with people, a certain person towards the arse end of this championship, where I could have had good points. But it is what it is. And yeah, I'm happy with fourth. I think I got fourth last year, if I recall. Fourth or fifth. So yeah.
Shots fired there from
And-
Class Lads.
I believe we both know what you two are talking about, but we'll leave that for another day and another occasion. So I think that will do it actually for our post-race interviews and our Formula 2 championship actually.
Who's your driver of the day?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we completely forgot about that.
Swear to God, if you don't fucking pick me.
Okay. Well, I got the sprint.
We're being held at
Why-
gunpoint here
why
by
don't
our
Swear to
drivers.
God. Swear to God.
Come on.
So for the
Becky,
sprint,
you've won the championship. You're
Hey,
you're
Hold on,
pushed aside from it.
hold on. Silverside Boy has his drivers of the day, but first our sprint race standout. Who's it going to be?
I want to say our driver of the day for the sprint is David Wellface.
Fucking tosser. I started like eighth, so I think third.
But-
There's a feature
for our
feature's going to go
feature
to Fat
race-
Lads.
There we go.
So how-
We're
Happy?
complete.
How does that
Aye,
make any sense?
Right,
How
so
does that
how
make
does
any sense?
this make sense? Third to second, or second to first?
Well, where did you start in the feature?
Third.
In the sprint, I started eighth and finished third, and then in that one, I finished third to second.
Yeah, but David was near the back and finished sixth.
Yeah,
in the
but-
sprint.
So as per client, how does third? How is third to second better than second to first?
You've won the championship. It don't matter.
No, I want my driver today, Gary.
No, he's chosen now. No, that's it. I fucking
Wow.
find
Yeah,
you got driver of the day from Gary's mouth.
I gave you one.
I know why,
You
Gary. That's
spit.
because of the post race. No, the pre-match race fucking party. That's why.
I think that's enough of the driver arguments before we end off having an absolute debate and domestic. This eventually deciding driver of the day. And yes, before anyone says, I have muted both Brookman and Collateral Ads, because it was never going to end. Anyway, one thing that will have to end though is tonight's broadcast. Take this moment to say thank you very much to everyone for tuning in across these last 2 seasons of Formula 2. FPRL will be back this Wednesday, where our Tier 3 drivers, aka myself and everyone else in Tier 3, head off to Spa in Belgium. And we do have another league running as well. We've got a partner or sister league in TTL Racing, To The Limit Racing. They're hosted by Biddle, Revengezilla and TGM on Mondays and Tuesdays, so check them out on their Twitch channel at TTL Racing. And be sure to check us back here on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday for our main tier championships going on as well. And yeah, that's it. Of course, FPR will not be back next Sunday, as this was our final round and currently final Formula 2 event. So take this opportunity to say thank you all, everyone, for tuning in on a Sunday, giving us around 2 hours of your time. And seems like I've missed the drinks redemption courtesy of Shadows, so actually very good timing from that. We shall end off our broadcast tonight with a toast, and a toast to the future, a toast to the future of FPRL, and a toast to basically just everything ahead of us. So cheers to that, and on that note, that's going to be it. So thank you everyone for watching. I've been Cruiser1872, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night. And courtesy,
as Chocobo would say, it's been a disgrace.
Indeed. I wouldn't say one, it's been a disgrace, but from all of us here at FPRL, good night. And from Silverside Boy, a goodbye as well,
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, bye.
And from me, Cruiser1872, a good night and a goodbye, and I'll see you next time on FPRL.